I believe we are live on Quintessential ZA, and this is the Quintus and Baker Show. All right, good evening, everyone streaming in here on Quintessential ZA, Quintus and Baker Show. This is the show where we kind of are looking for every indie artist out there, and I will this time introduce my friend. His name is Christopher Baker. He is the master of butter knives here on the show today.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, Quintus, who is haunted by his pet dog that died many years ago.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
True story.
Today we are joined by one of our good friends. Her name is Nell Van Der Merwe. She's an actor, singer, voiceover artist, director. Is there anything she doesn't do? Nell, hello. How are you?
Hello, Quintus. You make me sound so cool when you summarize me like that. But I'm doing well. How are you guys?
No, we're doing well, man. I mean,
excellent. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, we decided, listen, we got to get a show going whilst we're all in lockdown and now extended level 4 lockdown. We've got to get a show going that shows off the creatives, because the creatives are normally people who join, you know, their audiences in physical space, but now we almost don't have any physical spaces left to go to where crowds can, you know, be in the same room. So we really wanted you on tonight to talk more about, you know, just the work that you've been doing. Christopher, what do you think?
So now you recently got a role on Binnelanders as Connie, is that right?
Yes, but it was just a visiting character. So her arc is done, it's completed, and
She
was like,
can
are they going to write you back in?
Yeah.
Well, they can, but I'm not putting all my hopes on that. I think it's good to have the mentality of like, you do a job well, and then you just run on to the next thing and don't get. Yeah.
Well, I'm quickly going to go and show a photo of you on set, because we actually have photos this time, which is cool. This is a new thing on the Quintus and Baker Show. I think our budget has been upped. Here is Connie the nurse. This is Nell that was on Binnelanders. So, you know, for people who are watching, Nell, in terms of trying to get onto a soapy, because this is a soapy, right? I mean, how do you go about doing that in South Africa? I mean, give us a little bit of the background of where your acting career began, and, you know, was Binnelanders that thing where you were like, I made it. This is my shining moment.
Oh goodness, I'm gonna answer the question in reverse.
Perfect.
I don't think. Well, for me personally, I don't think I'm ever gonna have that moment of, oh, I made it. I don't think you can really define such a moment. I think creativity means that you're constantly searching for something new, places where you can grow. You're constantly curious and wanting more. I don't think I'm ever going to reach a point like I made it. I don't know. But I think there are also. So now I'm starting the answer from the beginning of your question.
Perfect. Questionception.
Yes. So I think there are many different routes you can take. There's no single way of trying to get into a creative field or the entertaining industry. I think passion and determination and energy and like a strong will is really all it takes. And a word I used. If you're passionate about it, it comes easy. For me, I went and studied drama at the University of Pretoria. I also did my honors. I'm now doing my master's. So for me, that was my sort of road that I took into the creative world. It was an academic route mainly. But I think if you want to seriously pursue it, I think it is best. It would be good if you can get an agent. Agents are remarkable people. They act as the bridges. They get you jobs or at least auditions, so opportunities for jobs. So just look out for those opportunities and take it. So my agent called and said they wanted me to audition for Binnelanders. I was like, cool, great. And again, you don't want to put your hopes too high. I think it's also good to see everything as a learning a learning process. So the audition in itself is already a win or a you've made it mark. Because you learn so much. I mean, if you've never been in an audition space, you experience so many first times within the industry, like your first time auditioning, your first time on set, and you get to know yourself in those spaces as well. So I auditioned for Binnenlanders. I didn't audition for the role of Connie. I auditioned for another role. And a few months went by, you're like, okay, I didn't get didn't get that part. And then my agent called randomly and said they wanted me for the role of Connie, which is great. And I think that's also a good thing to keep in your mind. Like, don't feel distraught if you don't get this role or you didn't get a call back. It's if you give everything a type of value, like that audition had value, and give energy towards it, that will also shine through your professionalism. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, very good. Very inspiring word.
Thank you for the stamp of approval, Christopher. It was just like a very good.
Very good.
I feel it's
very
maybe I should start
satisfactory.
auditioning.
Here.
Well, I mean, Christopher, I think that's a good question. You know, like obviously some people go through the studying mechanism of going through drama and then getting their degree and everything. But in South Africa, I think we're acutely aware that not everyone can have that same privilege and story, of going through university. So, have you recognized that in the industry, that sometimes people, who haven't gotten a formal drama degree can make it in the industry and potentially, have a door in?
Definitely. There's this beautiful word I learned in art history called you call them outsider artists. And I think a lot of the time those people are in a way the most creative. They're not, I don't know, outsider art can be raw and honest in its own way, and sometimes even the most purest form of creativity, because it's purely driven by intuition and individual passion. But I think South Africa has many different stories. And also, I think we live in a day and age where there are so many digital platforms that people can create their own stories with very little. You can have a camera or a phone even and shoot a film, or you can have you can create a play and just in a found space and just invite a few people. You can be creative in many different ways. Yeah.
Christopher, you want to go? You want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, to cotton onto that, I actually saw on TV5, which is like a French news channel, that on Instagram they published a movie that was shot entirely on the cell phone. It's just the front view of the cell phone with text overlay, and it's describes the whole relationship in lockdown and the text they were sending, and then so you can get really creative, and I'm really excited to see what other stuff comes out of lockdown.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get back to your character Connie. Don't you want to just tell us a bit more about her season arc, and then maybe also tell us what was it like on the set of Binnenlanders? It's quite a prestigious stage to be on.
Yeah, it was overwhelming inside, but I was calm and collected.
Calm and collected.
But
you look quite a quiet nurse, quite strict in that photo.
Yeah.
You were
keep talking. I'm just going to show. You see that quiet photo right there. I'm showing the one where the other nurse is looking really concerned at how angry you are. What's going on?
She's drama. She was actually a very cool character to play, because she had a secret that she had to hide for her entire arc, and so at the beginning she's scared and all over the place. So that was quite fun to play, and it immediately makes the character intriguing, and it's fun for me to I know something you don't. But it's like you said, it's I'm so lucky to have had that opportunity. Like I said before, there's not a lot of these big professional opportunities that can come along. I mean, I also just talked about you can create your own spaces, or make found theatre. But I got very lucky and also I'm still learning as I'm going, so it was such a big learning experience for me. And I think the thing that I like, I was most thrown by was the pace at which they shoot these episodes.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like a factory. You get, and there's no. It's so direct and so quick. I have the utmost respect for soapy actors, because it's so you get your lines, say, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks before, or I don't know, sometimes even a shorter amount of time, and then you have to learn all of these scenes, get there, and have one rehearsal with the director, and then it's like immediately to shooting. Yeah, which is also interesting about, well, soapies, they shoot with something called multicam, so you have 5 cameras at one time, so the scene is already edited by the time they finish the shot, so the pace of it is quite exciting.
Crazy.
And quite daunting at the same
imagine.
time.
Because you kind of have to do it in like one take, right? I mean, the expectation is like, listen, get this done and let's move on, type of thing.
Yeah, but they are so friendly at Binnenlandisch. Like, really, they were so welcoming and open. They immediately made me feel safe in the space. So really, really lovely people.
That's really good. Was there anyone in particular, any of the actors that you felt you learned a lot from, or just a name in particular?
Well, all of them. All of them.
All of them. Can't single anyone out.
Yeah, I feel like you
Just
learn
for
from
the
different.
sake of the show, though, anyone you stick out?
Well, Simonay Nordman is just such a lovely person, and she's warm and she's so professional. I think not only observing her as an actress, but also just as a professional on set and behind the scenes, she's so together and professional and warm and welcoming that she really made me feel welcome.
Yeah, well, we're gonna need a number because we need more hosts. We need more guests on the show for us to host. You know, so please just. That's why we asked the question. Listen, I want to quickly go back to our little photos over here, and then I want to bring in a picture of a poster for the play that you wrote, and I actually and Christopher had the pleasure of seeing when it was still at the University of Pretoria, but we're going to be talking about since then it's been put on in a plethora of other theaters, but this is the poster for Switch, and it's called Erikse Ontkoppeling, and that is by Nell Van Der Merwe, and we watched it. What is it? It's not. What is the theater that we watched it at?
The Masquerade. I think
there
we
you
watched
go,
it
yes.
in 2018.
Must have been.
That was a while back.
Yeah. The minute when I watched it, I thought, listen, man, this thing needs to be a screenplay, post stat. Like we need to get this thing into screenplay format. But tell us, you've since moved it. I don't know why you're laughing. Okay, I'm being serious. Okay,
I'm on board with that.
It's your seriousness that's making me laugh.
No, listen, I very much liked it. But to give us a quick rundown of what the story is and where the inspiration came behind Switch.
So I just quickly also want to say the poster is designed by a good friend, Emma Bosman. She's at Emma Teken on Instagram. I need to, because she's so she also created the music for Switch. So
she did a fantastic job as well. Yeah. Go check out her stuff if you're watching. It's really cool.
Yeah. So it was in my honors year, I had directing for theatre as like my main subject, and we had to for our final piece create a piece of theatre. So Switch originally in high school I made a doodle of a character that's attached to a little robot, and when we had to start developing a piece of theatre, I was like, okay, this might be a fun thing to play around. I had the image of how the set would work first, before I had anything else, and I think it really frustrated my lecturer because all of the other students started their process by writing and the characters, and here Nell is I have this image.
I have a set. The set design is ready. We're gonna put this there. Where do the actors go? Well, I haven't written that yet. But the set ready.
But so I was really curious as to this looks like an interesting character. Okay, what would the rules of this world be? So it's set like in a fantastical electronical world. Although I didn't write the play with the intention of creating like a fantasy or like a sci-fi. I was curious about this doodle and this world, so I was not like, I want to write a fantasy and use the iconography of fantasy or sci-fi to guide my writing process. So the character that I doodled was Erik, that is the one brother. And then I like the idea of contrasts. So the moment when I had the world, so it's an electronical world, I started looking, I almost said researching, but that would be such a lie.
Don't be too honest, yeah. You know, give yourself some credit. No one's gonna know.
But like looking just like at like batteries. So you have like your positive and your negative, and you also have in Afrikaans you call it a kortsluiting. I can't think of the word in English.
Short circuit?
Like it switches off, like it's like loose wire.
Yeah, kind of like a short circuit type of
A
vibe.
short circuit, thank you.
Okay, I was right.
Yeah,
I knew.
I was
knew
right.
it.
I was right. I got that one.
Yes, ding, ding, ding. That was a taste. No, you have your positive and your negative, and you have a short circuit, and I thought that's like interesting concepts to help me create characters. So I created an opposite to the brother that I first doodle. So if I make Erik a positive, then it makes sense to make the other brother a negative. But I even took his character a step further and made him like act in a way like a short circuit. But the moment there was like tension between these two brothers, the rest sort of came naturally.
Yeah.
There had to be rules to the world that I created, so everybody was plugged in. It sounds so absurd, but it's it's actually
it sounds like real life to me. I mean,
yeah. But it so the one brother Erik works at the main battery station, and in this world they've been experiencing a lot of rain and like tough weather, and it interferes with the wires, and because Erik is a maintenance worker, he's sent out to go fix 3 wires. So essentially it's like the hero's journey is starting, and then along the way he runs into this shadowy figure which is revealed to be his brother, and the brother and the 2 brothers have this history of fighting, and the one is within the system, the one is without the system, the one wants to get back into the system, and the younger brother is fixated on this idea of proving his self-worth.
Yeah, usefully, I've put some photos up while you have been talking of the 2 characters and the TV robot guy. So
Yes.
I mean, people have gotten an image of what it kind of looks like. I was very impressed by the Cain and Abel type of story that you put into it, and I think it was very relevant to South Africa, and I mean it might still be relevant to South Africa because the feeling of it is like, oh, these guys are working for some real huge state-owned corporate thing that needs to keep the lights on for everybody, but one of the brothers is entrusted to do something and the other one feels like he's fallen out of favor. So I don't know, the South African the South African theme around it was like super relevant the first time I watched it. So did you take this to a Johannesburg based theatre? When did you take it from UP and put it on to another stage?
I think it's also important to say at university I was blessed to have 2 fantastic actors, one Ronaldo Botha and the other one is Erik Lawrence. they were such a vital part of creating the play in my honors year. So they were the first actors to play Erik, the two brothers, Erik and Rikus. And then last year, I moved to Johannesburg, and I think I was just, to be creative, it's like a muscle. You need to exercise it. You can easily fall into a pit where you're constantly just talking about ideas, or you're dreaming of like these happenings, and it never comes into fruition. It never becomes tangible. And it's such a difficult process to make something to take something from a dreamscape into the real world, especially if it's when it sounds so absurd. When you have like a guy with a TV on his head. But it's my personal relationship with me wanting to be creative, and it's an experiment. Each time you create a piece of theatre, or every time you do something creative, you don't know what the results are going to be until you see it tangibly happening there in front of you. So, but the risk and the braveness comes in the fact that you do it anyway, no matter what the end result. You're not aiming for end results. You're aiming. You're like a scientist, like.
Look, this is fascinating. It's like the creative process being explained live. It's what I like. The Dunk Alder Theatre. Am I getting that right? That's an independent theatre. Now, tell us more about these kinds of theatres. Are they all over Johannesburg? What does the scene look like in Johannesburg? Is it ripe for theatre at the moment?
Oh yes, there's a lot of. Johannesburg is very exciting. You also have the pop art theatre, and then you also have like your standard, like the market theatre, and no, it's very much alive. And I mean also like the drama students, and like it's really but the thing with the Dunkelder, which makes it so special, it's just two individuals. They are living in a house, and the house is quite big, so they turned a part of the house into a theatre, and it's become sort of, well, the way I observe it, like a central hub for creatives in Johannesburg. It's very exciting. Although I must say it's a kind of sad. When we performed it there last year, the people said that they wanted to demolish. There was people who want to demolish the house.
What?
Yeah, but I think they are so passionate and such nice people. I think they might move the Dunkelder to wherever they move to.
Do we need to start a crowdfund campaign to keep this house open?
Occupy Dunkelder.
Yes, Quintus. Put it on your list of do good things.
Absolutely, yeah. We need culture in South Africa.
To protect, yeah.
But I didn't.
Look, that's what's happening with coronavirus now. I mean, the coronavirus outbreak happens, and suddenly all theatres basically have to shut their doors. We actually don't know when theatres might be. I don't even know what level, the theatres might be able to open on. So, in that sense, are you and colleagues of yours, or people that you know in the sector, genuinely concerned about what's been happening, worrying about what's going on in media and theatre and all of that stuff? I do understand that, Stephen Delan and those kind of places were allowed to reopen and start filming again, but theatres as they are, I mean, how do we get them back open? And, are we going to open without having a business issue?
I think I'm observing it also as it's been presented on media. For a lot of my colleagues and I, we feel sad, especially because of like festivals that's like pending or buffering. We don't know what's happening there, and I think it's always sad when people put in creative energy or towards something and it doesn't. There's no platform for it to come to life. But I think it's interesting what's happening now. But I do think it's not a permanent. Well, that's just my opinion. I don't think it's a permanent thing that theatre's gonna go into decay. I think creatives are well, the word sort of answers it. They want to create. So even if it means that there are not a lot of funding, or some theatre spaces closed down, there are so many creatives with enthusiasm and like they want to create, and they will make that happen. I think I read today like an interesting word. It was they used the word digital theatre in this article, and that sort of puzzled me, because you see it also now. A lot of theatres or actors are coming up with new ways to make people engage with theatre. You get like a lot of digital or like online festivals or online happenings, which I think is really cool. And I think that could maybe be a cool thing to continue into the future. I don't think that theatre will ever die out. I think that the landscape on which theatre takes place is just going to broaden and maybe reshape itself a little.
Yeah.
But
and let's hope not. I mean, because nothing can really replace that feeling that you get when you're at a live performance in the flesh. And
yes.
The saying goes, everybody watches a different play. No two experiences are the same. I don't think you can ever replicate that experience on a digital platform.
It's ironic, the word digital theatre. Like when does it become film?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
is it live film?
Is it in the style? How is it going to be defined? It puzzles me, and also
fascinating times.
Theatre is about that directness. It's a happening. It's the tangibility of it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when we watched Switch, even at the Masker Theatre, I mean, you guys, you managed to build this atmosphere in the Masker, and even I, on that evening, I sat in the seat, and I was like, there's a really good atmosphere in this building right now, and you engage so well with the play because you're watching human, interaction happening live, essentially. So I agree with you. Digital theatre sounds kind of like an I don't know, what do they call it, an oxymoron, or it's just
paradox.
It's
a short circuit. It just makes you short circuit.
But I think it's not new. I think the coronavirus is just sped up digital. Like, I think public entertainment spaces have for a while now not been like the biggest places to go to. I mean, you can even look at film theaters. It's not because you have Netflix and you have these online spaces where you can watch films and good films. But I think so it's not new that we're not going to public spaces for entertainment. But that's sort of the thing with theater. I think in a way it's like a niche almost.
100%.
It's there's a performance element that the audience also engages with. You become part of the whole experience.
Cool. Listen, let's resume our chat about theatre in just a little bit, but we also want to move to music because, we had poets last week. We had Puno Salesho on the show, and she was giving us her poetry. And, she had this
such a beautiful person. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we played some of her album, and it's like, it was so weird how she had this album out in time for, the closure of society, because now someone could access something of hers that is digital, And you guys are also, putting yourselves out there a little bit digitally. You and Emma, who was the person who put together that wonderful poster of the play Switch. She designed that. I'm showing it again. You guys have a small duo together, a little music act. And I think this would be a perfect time to kind of go into the song and play a song from what you guys are doing. But we wanted you on for an exclusive that I'm pretty sure the news channels are going to pick up in just as you say it, because I mean, this is Quintessential ZA. It's a very important platform in South Africa. You guys, are you planning on releasing an album or not? Are you, because Baker had a rumor that you guys were doing something like that?
That's the $1 million question. No, so Emma and I recorded an album 2 years ago. Can you believe it? We're such horrible people.
Is it on sound?
You've just been hoarding it.
They're hoarding an album.
So we're
What's
gonna.
that? It's the album. Don't tell anyone.
Exactly. We'll just leave this on the shelf
Right.
for when a virus might break out.
Are you guys calling it?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe that will be an accurate time to release an album.
Calling it the silent album or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
The secret album, Christopher.
The secret album.
I heard it's the illest.
No, but shame.
Wow.
We recorded an album. We were very lucky. We have a good friend, Yaku, and he was like, please come, let's have some fun. Let's record your music. Because for me and Emma, it's absolutely for fun, the music we make. We don't take ourselves too seriously. like 2 years. 2 years. We haven't. So, but yeah, we are going to release it next month. And
Amazing.
so it will be on Spotify, it will be on our YouTube channel, and it will also be on SoundCloud.
iTunes?
Almost forgot. Sorry?
Apple Music?
Apple Music. I don't know. I
Most
asked,
Not Apple.
Not
I
Apple, screw them.
Stuff Apple, yeah.
no. I asked Emma, and it was SoundCloud, YouTube, and Spotify.
Yeah. Listen, we want to give the people watching a
give
taste
them a
of this
listen.
music. So I'm quickly going to go over here so we can, and I'm gonna bleed it through to you guys as well. So you, Nell, you're going to be listening to a song you've recorded yourself, but
Okay.
that's one of those things.
You should recognize it.
Oh, yes. I'll try my best.
I will go to here, and then I'm going to play this one. It is called Love Hold On. It's by Nell and Emma, or Emma and Nell, whichever way you want to slice it. Here it goes.
I've been holding hands with ghosts, chasing hills and clouds and misty coasts. You've been planting roses, falling down a pocket of posies. We'll meet when the rain is sweet, when the hills have finally woken up. Love, I'll see you then. Love, I'll see you then. Love, I'll see you then. Lost towns, forgotten stories, long walks in the freezing mornings, wandering down the winding roads, making up our stories as we go. If you let my hand leave yours, why this narrative might lose its course. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on to me. Keep me in your memories. Is that the safest place to be? I'll spare a thought or two for you, if you'll spare one for me too. I left half my things behind, writing stories of a different kind, chasing down the distant rains, spending lonely nights on empty trains. If I had my way, my dear, I would find a way to keep you here. Love, remember me. Love, remember me. Love, remember me. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on to me.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Here on the Quintus and Baker Show, that is Love, Hold On. And on Instagram, I believe you guys are Nell and Emma.
Yes.
So you can go and follow them there. I'll try and update the description of the video so you guys can find them on social media and await that, that album. Come on, let's get that album going. Talk to us more about where that began. Where did you and Emma, meet each other, and how did you guys start, tinkering away on the guitar?
So Emma and I know each other from, we're like old family friends. So since we were very young, and we were also good high school friends, and that carried on into university. And I think the first time, we used to sing in the choir our whole high school lives, so we sang together in that way. But then I think the first time we sang together was in first year, and the first song we wrote together was called Time, and then we were like, well, this is quite fun, because
It's also a great song. Is it on the album?
Yes.
Good. One of my favorites, right up there with the one where you diss somebody. There was a diss track song as well.
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
guys record that one?
Leona's Revenge song.
Yes. Is it on?
Yes, it's on.
Oh my gosh! So excited.
Can you rename it Corona's Revenge? Just for me. Just
to be topical.
Yeah, just to be topical.
Oh my word. No, but so we just started creating from there. But it's rare to find someone that you can create with so easily and naturally.
It is.
I think I took it for granted because it was just so easy. And now that I'm a bit older and had like a little bit of more experience creating with other people, it doesn't always come that naturally. So I'm very lucky to have Emma as a friend. She's so talented. Yes, it's her playing the guitar. She's so musically gifted. So.
But you play the guitar as well. You don't do so badly yourself. I mean, it's very experimental, but you get the job done. I play guitar just like that as well. I'm also like, okay, so what am I doing here?
Listen, sometimes your biggest flaw is your biggest point of creativity.
Hey, there you go. Now that is a takeaway. That's a takeaway from the show.
I think you can quote you. Yeah, let's put a quote there.
Emma and I always argue before a performance because there's some songs that I wrote on the guitar, and then she's like, okay, now I'm gonna give the guitar to you at that point, and then we're always like, no, I don't want to play the guitar, you play the guitar. And then she's like, but I'm just as nervous as you are. So there's always some bickering over who plays the guitar.
Yeah, it's one of those things though. But look, you're now you're mastering all the trades here. You've got it. It's like theater and then television and music. I mean, you're stacking yourself up quite well. I mean, would you tell and kind of advise other people to keep their options open when it comes to the creative industry, to try a plethora of different industries and see which one sticks, because one could be more daunting than the next one, and sometimes what you're creating might not be for the market. And I think that's maybe why we started the show. Christopher can maybe talk about that. We're definitely looking to play these kinds of songs and get them in rotation because we feel that there are no more platforms for music like this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole idea with Quintessential is quintessentially South African, 100%. And then getting unsigned, sort of below the radar artists. Nell's pretty above the radar, actually. I mean, she's bringing out an album. She's on national television. So I think you can add humility to her skill set as well.
Listen here, you guys. When self-doubt creeps in next time, I'm just gonna come and watch this video.
Come back and watch this video. Yeah. But seriously, we love having you on the show now. And,
wow.
Please also, if you can think of any other upcoming artists who are just flying below the radar, we want to give them this airspace and find out, like, there's so much cool stuff happening sort of underground in South Africa. People like Jeremy Loops before he was famous. He had to put his stuff somewhere. We want to find those guys. And Matthew Moore before he went huge and his stuff was still on SoundCloud. We want those guys to come on the show. And I think this is a good chance to segue into the Quintus and Baker Show challenge, which is every time we invite someone on the show, they have to collaborate with us on something. And we've already collaborated on a few songs, actually. Yeah. We kind of started a band and then forgot we started a band. So I think that the gauntlet has been laid out. We have to record one of the songs and bring it out. So yeah, that's gonna happen, I guess. Yeah. Are you in, Nell?
Yes, you are also one of the peoples who it's like easy to be creative with.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time, this is just for fun, bonus material. Quintus, Nell, Emma, and I got together to just hang out and jam, and we all wrote down little like one-liners on a piece of paper, folded it, wrote another line, folded it. We were so in sync that our little one-liners rhymed.
Yeah.
They rhyme.
Yeah.
That's what level of.
But I think it's so important to bring that up. It should be playful. Creativity is you should be playful. You should enjoy it. And I think through playfulness, have fun. Don't take yourself too seriously. And remember to be curious.
Yeah, I've spoken to people who have done like classical music training before, and the thing that they've wanted to do most of all is start some sort of alternative rock band, because they get so deep into doing classical music and it's so formulaic and it's so mathematical that eventually, like on the weekend, they need to break out of it.
Just put some moldy peaches on, and they're like, yes.
But
exactly.
I think when in terms of that, it's interesting when the two genres meet. If you can fuse your two passions, that sometimes brings out the most creative new thing. Yeah.
Claude Chandler on the text line, on the YouTube text line, he was he was applauding the song that we played, and Debbie says, "Wow, fabulous! What a talented person," which I believe that's from my mother. So extra brownie points. Yeah, this show
You're
is
in with Quintus's mom.
There you go. Good books.
Yeah.
So she's reviewed it highly, and she reviews things like, she doesn't just say, "Wow, great." But that was the song was very well recorded, and you guys said that you recorded it, in a where exactly? It was just like a room, and that was it.
No, it was
like studio.
It's a professional studio, and two things Yaku's going to be upset about is that I can't remember the studio's name because I'm that person, and I can't remember his surname. So I can only tell you that his name is Yaku. But it's
at least it's not a common name or anything.
But it's a very professional. He's and it was like. It's an amazing recording room. It even had like the red carpet, the red, in the films you always see like the rock star red carpet, the tapestry carpet on the floor. So yeah.
But now two names I think you actually forgot to mention earlier. You mentioned Ronaldo and Erik.
Yes, I want to come back to that.
Yes, can we just give a mention to the next rendition of Switch? You brought in two new actors, and you had a totally new experience at the Duncalder. Quickly mention them and tell us how it differed.
It's I was again so lucky to get two fantastic actors. So it's Gerald Stein and Dwayne Forster. Almost forgot his surname. Jammer Dwayne. Dwayne Forster. But he it's so strange because I put up the play 3 times. It kept on changing shape, and that was also for me a learning curve. Like Switch is very special to me because it's sort of my first big professional production, and it's constantly teaching me new skills, and each year it gives me something different. I think that's also the first time I restaged Switch. I was actually like a bit shook about how much it changed because the actors have gotten older also. The first time it was performed, the one actor Erik, he was a second year, a very talented second year. And then he had grown as an actor, and Ronaldo he was an honor student by that time. So just the energies that they bring to the stage is completely different. And I think it was important for me to learn how to just go with that. The moment you want to, no, but it used to be like this, it was like this in the past, you sort of suffocate. You suffocate it. If you allow for the change to happen, it becomes truthful in that moment in time.
But directing is a little bit, daunting, right? I mean, into your first foray as a director, I mean, did you think, my word, I would rather go back to acting than perhaps be a director?
No, for me, I've never separated in myself, acting, music, or directing. It's just me wanting to do something and fully being driven by that. So it is daunting, but I also found it's very I was very excited the first time I put the show up, and it gave me so much energy. It didn't take away energy. So I'm sort of addicted to it now. And it's also when you're creating a play or writing a play, it's fun because you don't, it's such a strange thing to see something that's been in your head and there it is tangibly realized and it's now in this world. It's so special, and that's it's like a big thrill, and you keep on chasing it. And also, if you want to create new stories. Don't. That's the only way I think about it. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I think South Africans that are into theatre and wanting to be in this sector are eventually going to find this video even down the road and find something in it to go. Okay, I should go into it. Something's resounding with me. I believe that the guy that helped you record the song is Yaku Nordia. So
yes, Yaku Nordia. Yes.
This is great. It's like crowd solving.
Yes.
Nell's method to madness.
I've got my people. I'm skilled at certain things, other things I'm not. Surnames in particular.
Surnames, yeah. I mean, who needs surnames? Really? Anyway, listen, if you are watching live or if you are watching on replay, do come and subscribe to us and ring that bell icon, because we've got more artists coming your way, and you're going to have to stick around to see what we eventually do in terms of a collaboration with Emma and Nell, because you know how it goes. We try and collaborate with everybody who comes onto the Quintus and Baker show. Baker is beneath me tonight. Baker, good to see you. It's been a pleasure having you on the show, but most of all, Nell, thanks for joining us on the show tonight. We thought, listen, man, you're doing cool creative work. We want to get inside the minds of creatives, and we want to reboot the sector once coronavirus disappears.
Yeah.
No. Oh, thank you guys for so much. This has been so fun. It's fun if somebody asks you questions about yourself and your creative process.
We enjoyed having you now. You've been an excellent guest.
Perfect. Nell, where can we find you on social media and those kind of things? Like if people want to get in touch with you, send you a message, say, I want to be in your play type of vibe, where can they message you?
So my Instagram handle is at I almost said at Nell and Emma, at Nell Van Der Merwe. So it's Nell VD Merwe. Yeah.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining tonight. It's been fantastic. Let's do this again next Tuesday, Christopher Baker. And Nell, hey, we're looking forward to their collaboration. All right.
Yes.
You know what? Let's play out with that song one more time.
Play us out.
Let's do that. From the Quintus and Baker show, it's goodbye. Cheerio. See you next time.
I've been holding hands with ghosts, chasing hills and clouds and misty coasts. You've been planting roses, falling down a pocket of poses. I'll see you then. Love, I'll see you then. Love, I'll see you then. Lost towns, forgotten stories, long walks in the freezing mornings, wandering down the winding roads, making up our stories as we go. If you let my hand leave yours, why this narrative might lose its course. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on to me. Keep me in your memories. Is that the safest place to be? I'll spare a thought or two for you, if you'll spare one for me too. I left half my things behind, writing stories of a different kind, chasing down the distant rains, spending lonely nights on empty trains. If I had my way, my dear, I would find a way to keep you here. Love, remember me. Love, remember me. Love, remember me. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on to me. Love, hold on.